Okay, so we'll start out by talking about mounting of the laser. That's the first step, basically. You purchase the system. The system also comes with, this is a 1 meter rail, but I think standard is a 750 millimeter rail, and 2 flat rail feet. Here I'm using some extruded rails because I don't have the normal flat rail feet that typically come with it. They're typically just black strips that jet out on either side to help balance it when you have heavier lasers that are off center from the rail so it doesn't tip over. Okay. This particular laser head is a New Wave Research Solo 3 laser head, but they're all basically the same. You have a base plate underneath where the aperture or the output of the laser needs to be aligned with the center of the rail. To do that, you want to center these 50 millimeter rail carriers, you have 2 of them, along the center line of the laser output aperture. So you just put one here and one on the back, and there should be some mounting, some pre-drilled threaded mounting holes for your carriers. Once those are fastened and tightened, just come over here and put your laser directly on the rail. And tighten. And notice once again that you want the output aperture of the laser along the center line of the rail. Okay. You also notice that the laser is offset, the body of the laser is offset from the center of the rail. Okay? So the center of gravity is over here, so to prevent it from tipping we need to make sure as well that the feet are also maybe offset to the same side that the laser is offset to account for any of that tipping of the laser that might happen if you didn't do that. Okay, the next component that you put on there, this is the light arm base. If it hasn't come installed on a sliding carrier already, it just takes 4 screws and mount right directly to the bottom of the base. I think there's a little give in each one of these holes, so what you want to do, position this camera here. Is the output aperture from the laser needs to be lined up with the input aperture of the light arm base. Okay, if I just slide this over, you see it's pretty well aligned. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can spend more time getting them better aligned if you'd like. Left to right is controlled. There's a little bit of give, like I said. Here, just loosen them up. You can slide them just slightly, but basically if they're in the center, it should be good enough. We can correct for any misalignment or larger misalignments later on by adjusting the mirrors or this light arm base plate here, and I'll show you that momentarily. You have this 1-inch threaded tube as well. You can put that on the output aperture of the laser, and it just screws directly on like that. The light arm base, both the input and the output, have some caps. These are very useful. Don't lose them. If you do lose them, you can put a piece of tape or something over the input and the output, simply to prevent or minimize the amount of dust that ends up collecting on a lens if it's not in use. Not a lens, but a mirror in this case. On the back of the light arm base, back cover, just take it off with this thumb screw. It's held on, it's magnetized. And then you can hold it on with that thumb screw. Basically there's just one mirror in here. Laser light goes in, There's a mirror sitting right here, bounces off the mirror and goes up through the top. Yeah. And that mirror has two adjustments on it. This one will do the tilt. I don't remember if it's up or down or left or right, and that one does the opposite, and we'll sort that out in a minute once I start twisting on them to align the laser. Okay. So next we're going to look at how to align vertically this input aperture with the output aperture of the laser. We're going to simply remove these 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you also have 2 screws on the inside, a bit hard to see maybe in the camera here, where the Allen key is, I'll get the right Allen key as well, inserted to these slots right to the front face. And there's 2 screws that we simply loosen up on either side, just make them loose. And these back ones, I'll just loosen them up at the moment. Yeah. There is a slot here, so you may not have to take them all the way out. Depends on the output aperture height of your laser. Yeah. This thing is quite variable. Yeah. If I don't pull out the screws in the back, I only have a little bit of distance that I can shift the mirror between. A little sticky, maybe we should just take them right out. Or if you needed to shift the mirror a long distance, you just take the screws right out and you could slide it right to the top or all the way to the bottom. Okay. So since I know this is already set for my laser, I'm going to leave it where it is. Also, when you shift, you have these, I'll just call them, I don't know, sliding light guards here, this front face. Yeah. It just moves right along with the input aperture. Yeah. So at some positions you can see a little throughput through there, but you can just slide them around a little bit more to make sure that covers any escaping laser light. So you simply come back here, line it up. I'm just using my thumbs to feel, yeah, does it feel correct? Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect, because once again we're going to adjust the mirrors. So I'm just going to tighten up first. Stick the Allen key all the way in. Tighten the position on the front face. Then lock the positions on the back. Now the light arm base will just butt directly up to the output of the laser. Yeah, we can just tighten that down. Okay, that's the basic mount of the laser and the light arm base.